what are some of the most critical specializations in the electrical and electronic fields that have a huge demand, especially for PhD degree holders? So, what are some of those most specialized skills that industry expects PhD holders to satisfy those job positions?
See, for a PhD or a master's, I can say there are some areas like EMI, EMC, so where everybody cannot work because which is very critical in the power electronics, and you can just see those people on the hands in an industry. If you're even in the big industries, you can only count those people on the hands because that are some skills everybody may not be getting in an industry. So to get that experience, also to get those skills, you may require some of the experience. And where the PhDs who have done the PhD in this area of power electronics definitely will have a higher level of hand when you compare with the people who are in the field for some long time. And because these people will be working critically or specifically on those topics for a years of, or 4 or 5 years of span, and concentrating on a single part. And wherever there is narrowed level of expertise is required, there the PhD skills are much important. Let us suppose a specific application area where you take, and that specific application area, because when you see power electronics, it's a broader thing, but when you come into the specific area of inverters, then it is a smaller. So where the PhD people will have a deeper, like if you take in the T shape, the deeper the work they will get, and they will have the more insights into it. Like one way of EMI, EMC, code generation tools with the power electronics, smart grid areas, power quality applications, and active filter application. There are a lot of applications where the PhDs or doctoral students are working in the different gap areas. So that will be fulfilled in industries. And there are specific industries only will take the PhDs. They will not even go for the bachelor's or master's. So there are even those industries only they will look for PhDs and graduation with 2 or 3 years, post graduation with 2 or 3 years experience.
Okay, it is varied and it depends upon the specialization. I mean, how critical, depending on the criticality of the
Correct.
job role, it totally depends. So,
Yes.
and electric vehicle industry is growing day by day. So, what are some of the major research that is happening in the industry today in the electric vehicles?
See, in the electric vehicles, you all know first and foremost thing is compact in the battery size. So that's
Right.
where you people will be concentrating to have lesser weight and more robustness. And people will everybody will be always seeing the lighter is a weight, then the speed of the vehicle or the velocity of the vehicle will be good. Then the one is that area like only battery chemistries, where the physicists and chemists are always already working in that area, and there are different types of batteries evolving year to year, and there are different materials are evolving day to day. Second thing onto the BMS, where you have a very critical thing, battery management system, because these chemistries where we introduced as a batteries, every chemical property may not have similarities in it. So when you are charging the vehicle, people will see charging constant current and constant voltage modes, but to make every cell with an equal voltage and to charge every cell in an equal manner, these BMS plays a critical and vital role. Not only the charging, but also surrounding temperatures, current discharging and charging. So there are a lot of other parameters includes as a part of BMS. And there are some critical algorithms also be part of BMS. Second thing onto the powertrain, where you will see the efficiency of the powertrain and the power converters. And in terms of power converters, today gallium nitride, silicon carbide, or the new switches are coming into the market, and where you could see the product size can be compacted when you at least 40% by your conventional products from silicon or the IGBTs. So that's second area in the power electronics where the people are concentrating. And third one is in the telematics, IoT, and the connected vehicles and ADAS. And these all are part of, again, your what do you call, electric vehicles. And the fourth one is into the electric charging solutions or the charging stations, where you keep a charging station into different charging station ranges are evolving from an AC charging to the DC charging, and DC charging from a higher current rates. Today in the market, you can see up to 500 amperes or 600 amperes, and people want to charge their vehicle within the time of they refill the petrol or diesel of the vehicle. So you can imagine charging a 100 kilowatt 100 kVA battery into 2-3 minutes is a huge task and a challenging task. So these are the some of the areas in terms of a powertrain or a charging solutions many researchers are working. And the other way, if you see into the charging, people are working on the wireless charging and the dynamic wireless charging. When the vehicle moves itself, the charging should complete. So there are already some tracks are evolving into this dynamic charging, where you can charge the vehicle at each bus stop, and you can move forward accordingly. So these are the some of the areas where researchers are concentrating.
Okay, that sounds very fascinating. And also, electrical and electronics have got a lot of specializations in them. Embedded systems, VLSI, then power electronics, robotics. So there are many specializations in electrical within itself. So for the electric vehicle industry, what are different job roles or what are different specializations are required? Are present for the people to work in the electric vehicle industry.
See, when you come into the roles and into the electric vehicles, again, there are kind of all branches of engineers will be part of when you are making an automotive or a product. So it can be a mechanical engineer who can take part in the thermal analysis. It can be a computer science engineer who can make an ADAS or an telematic systems or instrument clusters for a vehicle. And if it is an electrical engineer, then there are a lot of power electronic circuits are required to be done. And if it's a communication engineer, the communication protocols, there are a lot of. So when you come into the industry, so there are certain positions like an embedded software engineer, where they could code for these converters when we make. So there are microcontrollers will be used. So to code, to develop a software for it, there is a software engineer is required. Even that can be done by an electrical engineer if he has a subject knowledge of power electronics very well when you compare to the computer science engineer. Because how the converter works, how the switch works, the electrical engineer knows better than the computer science engineer, and the coding part or the developing a software will be very easy for him when we compare with the computer science. Same way, when you want to implement a protocol, there is a communication protocols are required. How these microcontrollers between your VCU to MCU or your VCU to VCU or your MCU to MCU, how it is going to communicate between each other. So that basic knowledge is going to have with an electrical engineering who has studied. They might have studied in their third year or their fourth year of electrical and electronics and communication engineering part of the their bachelor's and the master's. And there are very specific and very most important thing in the EC is the persons who gets the magnetics and who has a very sound knowledge in the magnetics. They can survive in the industry for a long time, because magnetics plays a vital role when you are going to choose a product. How much ever you are going to compact your magnetic size, that much weight you are going to reduce in your vehicle, and you are going to compact the size. So this is another area where the engineers can concentrate. And there are some simulation tools for this magnetics like ANSYS or COMSOL, and there are a lot of tools where they can expertise, where they can get an expertise into it. There are some so Analytica, there are some tools where they can expertise. And when you seek only into the simulation studies also can be done by a power electronics engineer. and there are some critical failure modes should be analyzed. So functional safety engineers evolves in it. So it could be anyone. So functional safety engineers and DFME and layout engineers, where you can have this same power electronics engineer can be a person who can lay out the schematics in softwares like Cadence or Altium or different XYZ softwares. So where you should able to have a knowledge how much thickness of copper you should able to give, and what is the distance between the tracks you have to give, what kind of isolation you have to provide. So these all the things which one should be knowing. So it will be like from a different roles and different perspectives. Even during your bachelor's and master's studies, if you are having a small expertise in that, also can be done. Then obviously drives and converters are part of it. So, and by the time when you are going into the next level, then you should able to have the understanding of architectures and leading the teams and project management skills. So that will come along with it.
Yeah. Okay. And what exactly is the difference between the research that happens in an R&D of an industry and the research that happens in academia? Are they dependent on each other? Do they intersect at any point, or they are completely two different things?
Yeah, well, that generally differs from the research group to research group, and industry to academia, and academia to academia. And see, nowadays what happens is most of the industries or academics, I can say, not industries, academics are trying to collaborate with the industries to acquire what exactly happening in the industry. And they will be fascinating to collaborate with industry, because what exactly today we are going to give a live into the product, that is going to happen, and where everybody want to do that research. But not all the academic researchers are doing in a problem which they are solving on par with the industry. But some of the well-known universities or well-known institutions, they are doing taking the industry problem and solving the industry problem and tying up with the industries, and where they are generating the money into their labs. Second is the industries itself establishing their center of excellences in some of the institutions where they are where the academicians are grabbing the actual research problem. So third thing is like academics itself incubating the students which they have come up with an idea. So that's another way of developing a project from their academics. And finally, like there are some research there will be some research. Obviously everything may not be going into the industry in the today's phase, but it may come into the later stages. So that will also be there as a part of academic and research collaborations.
Right. And what are some of the most critical challenges that electric vehicle industry is facing now? It could be economic challenges or any technical challenges. So what are some of the most critical challenges that EV industry faces?
See, first and foremost thing is today's market, I can say, because of lack of semiconductors, that is the vital problem. Not only the electric vehicle, and almost all the manufacturing electronics industries are facing this problem. And coming to the automotive, specifically into the electric vehicle, the lack of launching the electric vehicles in the market is you need to have a charging solutions spread across the globe, and with a defined distance, because you cannot see a electric vehicle like an IC engine where you can pour the petrol and you can move within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. When you want to plan a trip with your electric vehicle, you need to have certain amount of energy which will be there in for a part of I can say in the city or urban driving, you may be very good for today's scenario, where you could see the countries like Norway, they have made the electric vehicles as almost compulsory, and 85 to 90% of their vehicles they have converted into electrification. So that's where you will see the improvements. And today in our country, and it may take some time to adopt into this, and one kind of market challenges charging stations. And second thing is how we are going to charge these vehicles, because once again, if you are going to get this electricity by burning the coal, and same kind of again same philosophy is going to happen, you are not going to gain much benefits from it. And you need to integrate the renewables with these charging solutions, so that you can exactly call this as a greener energy.
Exactly.
So integration of these things and integration with the smart grid, and there are some major load management systems are required when you introduce electric vehicles as a bunch into the market, where you can see now it is just evolving, in at least in our country, when you compare with the other states.
Right. And just like many people think, is electric vehicle the future of the world? What do you comment upon this?
Definitely, because every country want to move or make the automotive industry into electrification. You can see China; they are very fast moving to become their automotive into electrification. And there are countries where they are we're trying to give the incentives to the customers as well as the OEMs to make to adopt the electric vehicles into the real life scenarios. But if you can overcome the challenges in the charging solutions, and majorly into the battery, because one way people thinks that battery life cycle is also very less. You can maximum expect and nobody can give the guarantee on the battery. That's another challenging thing. Like if you are going to invest every 4 or 5 years 1 lakh, so then it is a very, and third or foremost important thing is, when you see an electric vehicles, it costs around 12 minimum of 15 to 20 lakhs, at least 12 lakhs and above. Where you can see same vehicle in the IC engine people can get for a four-wheeler, with a middle class people can get in 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs, even 3 lakhs nowadays, 3.5 lakhs. So that's where people are not moving into these EV industries. So to adopt these kind of challenges, if we can take care, then definitely it can be a future everywhere. And now tomorrow it may be fuel cell, or some latest things may be coming when you see beyond the electric vehicle. And one of the critical thing is, you cannot comment on the technology is as it is fast changing when you compare with the last decade, or last 20 before 2000 or 2010. So now you cannot the technology is evolving like whatever the into the not even parabolic. I cannot so day-to-day growth is very fast, and whatever the technology today is there, you cannot see the same technology in the next year.
Yeah, that's right. And thank you so much, Naveen, Mr. Naveen. It was wonderful interacting with you. And I really hope that people who watch this interview gain valuable insights. And also many passionate people in the electric core industry continue to pursue their career in the electric field itself. And thank you so much once again. It was wonderful interacting with you.
Thanks, Ravi. Thanks for inviting me. Very good luck and very good wishes to you and your organization.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.